Okay, so like I said, for 12 through 17, I'm not going to copy the picture over. Just look at it in your book. But number 12 says figure A, B, C, D, E maps to figure, and then there's a blank. Okay, so we have the blue figure going to the red figure. Okay, so I need to write the letters in the same order that they were essentially. Instead of them being primes, they used a totally different set of letters. Okay, so that's the difference in this than the ones that were on the board a minute ago. So it went to A, B, so I kind of look at it like, okay, where's the little indentation of it? It looks like this is probably a rotation. And so it went from A to B, so this one looks like it should go from J to K, and then it just follows the letters around. So this would be J, K, L, M, N. So that says figure A, B, C, D, E maps to figure J, K, L, M, N. Um, 14. Name two sides with the same length. So even if you don't have the picture open in front of you, now that we have the letters here in order, I can basically pick any set of two letters in that go beside each other and where they are with the corresponding figure and get that. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 options here for this one. I'm probably only going to write one of them, but we'll at least verbalize all of them. So what is one of the options for two sides to have the same length? Yep, JK and AB. That's one. What's another one? MN and what? DE. DE. MN has to go with the last two letters here. L what?
LM and CD.
Yep. LM and CD. And again, it only is asking you for one. You don't have to write them all. Since we're going through them, I'm just writing them. All right, and then I have 2 more that we haven't done yet. Yep. KL and BC. Technically, all of these should have these segment markers over them. And there's one more. Yep, JN and AE. Um, 16 says to name the coordinates of the pre-image of point L. So point L is in the image, and so I need to find the equivalent point in the pre-image and figure out what the coordinates of that would be. So what is the coordinate that matches up with L from the pre-image? C. And what are the coordinates of C? Somebody has their book open.
2, 4.
Yep, 2, 4. So technically it's just asking for the coordinates, but I'm just referencing that it's C here in case you're going back to look at something. Questions about any of those? All right, and we said it's a rotation. I don't know. Technically, I guess that was number 13. Is the statement true or false? So 18. Isometries preserve angle measures and parallel lines. Let's see who is paying attention to the slides. It's true or false? I should hear a lot more answers than just one person. Who says true? Raise your hand. Anybody say false?
I don't think so.
Good answer. It's true. All right, another true or false question. Number 20. A reflection in a line is a type of transformation. Is this true or false?
True.
Everybody saying true? It is true. All right. On 22. Everybody pretty much has your book, right? I don't need to. Cool. I'm not going to copy the pictures over again just for time, because then y'all might have time to work on your problems if I don't spend time copying pictures over. All right, so 22, it says to name and describe the transformation, then name the coordinates of the vertices of the image. So looking at number 22, what kind of transformation does it appear has happened? Is it a rotation, a reflection, or a translation?
Translation.
Okay, it looks like a translation. And a translation by how much? So that would be how much has it moved right, left, up, or down. So look at, like, what I would say is choose maybe like the top point where M is. How many points to the right did it go over to get to the red image? Yep. So translation, right, 6 units is what we would want to say. Okay, now, on the ones where it's just giving you the two pictures, like if it just gave you two triangles and there was no graph, you would just say it's a translation. But since it's on the graph, we can actually say how far over it went. All right. And then it wants us to give the coordinates of the vertices of the image. So that means since they did not call them by something different, I'm going to say M prime. I probably should have done that. Hold on. Let me change the order. Let me get them alphabetical order. L prime, M prime, and N prime. So L is the bottom left corner. So looking at the red picture, which is our image, what is the point or the coordinate of the vertices of L prime, which is the bottom left of the red triangle?
2, -2.
Yep, 2, -2. And then what about M prime? That's the top of our triangle up there.
3, 4.
3, 4. And N prime, so that's the bottom right.
5, -2.
5, -2. Any questions about that one?
So, like, we're doing the coordinates of that red triangle?
Yeah.
Okay.
When I was doing it, like, on my paper, since I had, like, copied over the graphs, I actually went and I labeled the coordinates of the initial ones, and then I went and labeled the ones of the image as well before I even read what the question was asking, because I was like, oh, it'll be easier if I can see them all, which can also kind of help you if it's hard to tell if it's a translation or a rotation, or not a rotation, a translation or a reflection, because the way these triangles are drawn, like, it kind of could look like it could be either one if you're not paying attention to it.
Oh, they use that.
24. All right, this one I am going to copy it over kind of as best as I can, but just roll with it. Okay, they're supposed to be the same size, so just disregard that. All right, these ones say does the transformation appear to be an isometry, and explain?
Yes.
Yep. I would say yes. They appear to be congruent. And what type of transformation did we have here? Yep. If I drew my picture correctly. Yeah, I did. And it would be a reflection. It's not asking us for that, but I figure I'll take advantage of the opportunity to go over that. All right, 26 through 31 all use the same 4 triangles. So when you're doing your homework problems, if there's pictures, you don't need to copy them over, but if it's like a question like it was up here with these ones, the true and false ones, and this first few that we did, you do need to write down the question. Don't just put an answer down. But you don't need to copy the pictures, but I'm going to attempt to draw some of these here for a second. Some of these numbers are going to be small, but since you have your book, it won't really matter because you can see them. Somebody named this patent mad. Heard her yell. All right. These questions want us to complete the statement, and so it's asking which triangle maps to which triangle. And again, we have to pay really close attention to the order of the vertices because that's what makes the difference here. Just by looking at this, which triangles go together?
The first and the last.
ABC.
Yeah, the first and the last, and then the 2 in the middle. Obviously, my pictures are not necessarily congruent here, but.
Do we need to copy these in the homework?
All right, we've got triangle ABC maps to triangle blank. So, let's see. Yep. PQR. 28. Triangle blank maps to triangle EFD.
KLJ.
Nope.
JKL.
Nope.
KJ.
KJL. Gotta watch the order of our letters. Okay, so we had EFD, so that went from the one without an angle to the one that was 45. So that's going from K to J to L. So make sure you watch those things. That's why I was saying you gotta really watch the letters here. 30, triangle LJK maps to triangle blank.
DFE.
Let's see. So 35 to 45, so D, F to E, yep. So do y'all see what I'm doing to tell which order they go in? I'm looking at where the stuff is with the matching angles. So on this one, it was L to J, so I was like, okay, well, that's 35 to 45. So then to check to see that I'm going in the right order, I'm going 35 to 45, so that's D to F and then to E. So I would say do that because that'll help you make sure that you have them in the right order. All right. 32 is we're showing that it's an isometry by using the distance formula to compare the side lengths of the triangles. So even if it looks like it, we have to show it. Obviously, it tells us with the distance formula. Just to kind of shortcut the process, I'm not going to copy the pictures over, but what I am going to do is we're told that triangle FGH maps to triangle RST. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to write the coordinates of the original triangle and what they are, and then we're going to do the coordinates of the, I guess I should be calling it the pre-image and the image, but I'm going to write the coordinates of the pre-image and then the coordinates of the image, and then we're just going to use that to do the distance formula just for the sake of time of not copying everything over. So the coordinates of F were -1, 1, G was -4, 2, and then H was -1, 4. And then for the image, R was 1, -1, S was 2, 2, and then T was 4, -1. So they want us to show that all three sides of this are congruent. So that means that in theory, FG should be equal to RS, GH should be equal to ST, and then FH should be equal to RT. So those are the things that go together looking at the letters here in the sequence that we have. Okay, so I'm going to do FG and RS, like I'm going to say at the same time, but back to back, and then we'll move down and move through them. So the distance of FG, using the distance formula, we've got -1 minus a negative, so +4 squared, plus 1 minus 2 squared. So we've got -1 plus 4, so that's 3 squared is 9. Plus, over here we've got 1 minus 2, so that's -1 squared is 1. So that's the square root of 10. And then I'm going to come over here and do RS. So same thing, we've got 1 minus 2 squared plus -1 minus 2 squared. So that gives me, in here I've got a -1 squared, which is 1. And then I've got -3 squared, which is 9. So again, we add those together, I get that that's the square root of 10. So the way the book's going to write your answers here to show that this is true is we're going to say FG is equal to RS is equal to the square root of 10. So we're going to show that that side is, that they're all equal and what value they're equal to.
You do that for each side.
Mm-hmm. You're going to have 6 distance formulas. There's only one of these in the homework, though. So it's not bad. I'm only giving you one of them. So next I'm going to do GH and ST. So GH, I've got the square root of -4 minus a -1, so that's going to be +1 squared, plus, and then we've got 2 minus 4 squared. So I've got the square root of -4 plus 1 is -3, squared is 9. And then over here, 2 minus 4 is -2, squared is 4. So that's the square root of 13. And then over here we've got ST. So that's going to be the square root of 2 minus 4 squared plus 2 minus a -1, so that's +1 squared. So I've got -2 squared, which is 4, +3 squared, which is 9. So that's equal to the square root of 13. So then I'm going to come up here and say GH is equal to ST is equal to the square root of 13. And then the last one, I'm going to have FH and RT. So FH is the square root of, look at my paper over here, -1 minus a -1, which is -1 plus 1 squared, and then plus 1 minus 4 squared. So this first part is just going to 0, so that's gone. And then over here I've got -3 squared is 9, so that's the square root of 9, which is 3. So if I can break down, like if I can reduce the square root, or if it's like a perfect square, obviously I'm going to do that. The other ones weren't, which is why I left them. And then the other one is RT. And so that's going to be 1 minus 4 squared plus -1 minus a -1, so that's +1. So just like in the previous one, that stuff's going away. This is the square root of -3 squared is 9. And so then square root of 9 is 3. So then up here I'm going to say FH is equal to RT is equal to 3. So this is what we're looking for as your answer there. So obviously I know this one has a lot, to it, but just there's only one like that. I think you can survive one problem like that.
Well, we won't survive.
All right.
Bye, math.
Last one. Again, for the sake of time, I'm not going to copy the pictures over. But these say to find the value of each variable given that the transformation is an isometry. That means that it should be equivalent. So looking at 34, what is happening here to get us from our blue pre-image to our red image?
Reflection.
Yep, it's a reflection. And so then I need to calculate what A, B, C, and D are equal to. So for A, I have 2A is equal to 96 from its pre-image, and then I just need to solve for A. So A would be equal to what?
It will be
48.
Yep, 48. So there's one of their answers. What is B equal to?
92.
Yep, 92. That one didn't require any work. What about C?
7.
Yep, C is 7. The sides just match up there. And then what is our last thing set up as?
30 is equal to 6.
Yep, 3D is equal to 6. So we're looking at things that match. Those two sides go together. And then D is equal to 2. And that's all you have to do on those ones. All right, I know that was kind of fast there right at the end, but are there any questions about that? They can wait 2 seconds. I don't know who it is, but they can. Okay. All right, problems are 2 through 11 and 13 through 35 odd. Again, if there's pictures, you don't need to copy them. If it's just a statement, then you do need to copy the statement over. So like,
For 2 through 11, do we have to do all of them?
yes. Because they're pretty quick. But stuff like 8 through 11 and 12 through 17 look a lot like what I see on the quiz review if I go through and look. So obviously everything is needed, right? And for the test, it's probably more the stuff toward the end. But for the quiz review, it looks a lot like the questions like 8 through 11 and 12 through 17. So really make sure you understand those kind of questions, okay? Now, since we're kind of short on time and it's Wednesday, I might give some time tomorrow to work on these as well. We might kind of start the next section. We might have like half the time is work time, half the time we start going over the next section. I haven't decided yet, but anyways, it's Wednesday, so this isn't homework, but I mean, it's due Friday, but like, I don't want to double down and give you like a ridiculous amount because I know this is a lot of stuff and it's a lot of new information, but anyways, any questions?